Hare Krishna. In the book and the movie, Wolf Totem, it has been described how the wolves and the nomads living in the grasslands of Mongolia lived in such great harmony. The nomads were sheep herders, and they would live by herding their sheep, selling the wool, and moving from one place to the other. And the wolves lived in those areas. Never did the wolves disturb the sheep or try to take away the sheep of the nomads, and never did the nomads try to disturb the natural habitat of the wolves. The wolves lived by eating the rodents in that area, and it was a very good system of perfect balance and harmony, with mutual respect for each other. It so happened that the government wanted to modernize the area. So they came to these grasslands, and the first thing that they wanted to do to make it inhabitable for humans was to kill the wolves. The elders from the nomadic tribes tried to explain to the government that this was not the way to live in harmony and peace. The way to harmony and peace was to not disturb the wolves. But the government did not listen. And gradually, they started killing the wolves in the region. Now, when the wolves were feeling threatened in their own natural habitat, they started attacking the nomadic tribes and the government officials who had come to kill them, and also started taking away their sheep. Another thing these government officials did was they wanted to kill the wolves and the baby wolves and take them to the cities to harvest their organs for medicinal purposes. So the government was driven by this greed, which made the lives of the wolves difficult. And when the wolves found that their boundaries were being threatened, their lives was being threatened, then they started attacking the human beings and the sheep. It so happened that gradually the wolves' population was completely finished. The rodents in the area increased. Plague became a very prevalent disease in that area. And the sheep, because there was no restriction on their grazing, they grazed so much and so much that those grasslands became into dry deserts. So all these different things happened because of the greed of the government. The greed of the government to modernize the area and to boost the economy and get economic dividends, and the greed to harvest the organs of the wolves for medicinal purposes. Friends, when we are driven by greed, we tend to not respect the boundaries of ecology and the boundaries of other people and other living entities. We forget the equal vision that every living entity is an equal part and parcel of the same Lord that we are part and parcels of. And we disturb the ecology and we disturb people's lives only to satisfy our greed. We are not satisfied with the way our lives are in its current setup. And to find some satisfaction outside of that, to fulfill our desires, we end up disturbing a lot of boundaries with people and boundaries with the environment. Little do we know that satisfying our greed is not going to lead to happiness. But living in satisfaction is going to help us live in happiness. Satisfaction is and will always be an important successfully guiding principle for happiness. Unlike greed, where no matter how much we try to satisfy our greed, it is never satisfied, and it only leads to disturbance in our lives and the lives of others, as we saw in this story as to how the government officials disturbed the lives of the wolves and the natural relationship, the harmonious relationship between the nomads, the sheep, and the wolves. So for us to grow spiritually, it is very, very important that we overcome this greed. And the only way to overcome this greed is to learn how to be satisfied with whatever we have and in whatever situation we are in. That doesn't mean we don't work hard. Of course we do. We do work hard. We do invest in our purposes, but without being attached to the outcome. and without disturbing the harmony that exists between people, without disturbing the boundaries with people. So friends, satisfaction, let us make satisfaction as the guiding principle of our happiness, so that we can not only grow in our careers and in our material lives and in our relationships, but also in our topmost relationship with that of God, with Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.